Only the fully vaccinated will be allowed access to public buildings without a PCR test. GTT to reduce backlog of landline applications in Bartica. Police detective detained for the death of a pedestrian on the West Coast of Berbice. In the region, Alexis is the new CARICOM Deputy General Secretary, and internationally, COVID global death toll tops 5 million in under 2 years. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Rubybagdam. Thank you for joining us. For the month of November, the COVID-19 Task Force has included in its gazetted order that persons must be fully vaccinated to enter Guyana or to access government buildings and other public businesses. During today's COVID-19 update, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the measure is necessary for persons to return for their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
What we have noticed from the data is that a lot of people came, they took the first dose, and they didn't come back for the second dose. And a lot of time has elapsed between the first and second dose. Now, if you only have one dose of the vaccine, it's not going to be adequate for you to get full protection. And that is why this measure is necessary, so that people get both doses of the 2-dose vaccine. And after your second dose, 14 days after, you're considered to be fully vaccinated. So it's important, at least, that those who have not yet get their second dose, that they go to one of the vaccination sites and get those second doses.
The minister said there would be no exceptions for persons who have not gotten the second dose of the vaccine.
We have adequate vaccines for a second dose, whether it's AstraZeneca, whether it's the Sputnik V, Sinopharm. We have adequate doses available, and therefore people should go and get their second dose.
While the emergency measures covering the month of November says only fully vaccinated persons will be allowed to enter public buildings, if a person is not fully vaccinated and wishes to enter a public facility, they must have an appointment or show a negative PCR test result obtained within 7 days of the appointment. Minister Anthony noted that there is no shortage of vaccines in Guyana and persons are free to visit any of the Ministry of Health's vaccination sites to get protection from the COVID virus. Additionally, the national curfew has been extended to be effective from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. As concerns mount over whether the curfew extensions will result in an increase in the number of positive COVID-19 cases, the minister had this to say.
The increase in cases will depend on people's attitude. And I think we've had more than a year and a half where people get to understand the disease and the precautions that they need to take. Which would be the masking, physical distancing, sanitizing. But in addition to those, what is also important is that people get fully vaccinated. So once you have more people becoming fully vaccinated, I think we'll see a drop in the cases.
The police are investigating a fatal stabbing at Rubybagdam on the east bank of Essequibo on Sunday, October 31st. Dead is 24-year-old Venezuelan national Tony Briza, also known as Bush. Inquiries disclosed that earlier in the evening, the victim and his brother were imbibing at a shop in Rubybagdam. Around 9:30 p.m., they both left the shop and proceeded home on a bicycle. On the way home, the now deceased stopped at a shed on the said road to speak with 2 women, and in the process, the suspect, who is known to them, approached the victim and a heated argument ensued. The argument quickly escalated, resulting in the suspect reaching into the waist of his pants, retrieving a long object and dealing the victim one stab to his left abdomen area, causing him to receive an injury. The suspect then escaped on foot in an unknown direction. An alarm was raised by the victim's brother, which resulted in several persons in the area coming to their assistance and who made checks for the suspect, but same proved futile. The body was examined and a single stab wound to the victim's left abdomen was evident. Subsequently, Berza was taken to the Lenora Cottage Hospital, where a doctor verified his death upon arrival. The body was escorted to the Ezekiel's funeral home awaiting a post-mortem examination. An investigation is ongoing. Over the weekend, telephone giant GTT installed and connected over 20 schools and residents with landline services in Bartica, Region 7. GTT's Chief Executive Officer Damian Blackburn, during a recent meeting with the Mayor of Bartica and residents, highlighted that the company had already started installation of 2 new towers within the region to provide customers with improved mobile services by April 2022. Quote, "Internet and access to the internet is a fundamental human right, and I will fight for the rights for residents within the region." End of quote. The CEO stated that while the tower within Bartica has been built to support improved mobile service, customers will only benefit from the upgrade with the installation of a second tower at Wartzilla. Quote, "With our new goal to position GTT as a 21st century customer-centric organization, we have been listening to customers' concerns and acting on them where we can. One of our promises is to reliably connect customers, and while fiber is not an option in the short term, we will definitely provide residents with our newly high-speed mobile data services by next April." End of quote. Meanwhile, Blackburn said more landline installations are expected to continue to reduce a backlog of applications for residents within the region. Stick around after the break. Police detective detained for the death of a pedestrian on the West Coast of Berbice, and residents of Region 1 and 2 can now apply and uplift their passports in their regions.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
For decades, milk has remained the same, until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Welcome back. The Central Immigration and Passport Office wishes to inform the public that as of November 1st, 2021, residents of Region 1, Barima-Waini, and Region 2, Pomeroon, Supanam, can now apply and uplift their passports at the Anu Regina Immigration and Passport Office, which is located at the Anu Regina Police Station on the Essequibo Coast. Passport applications will be accepted from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and passports will be issued from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on working days. The services offered at the Anu Regina Immigration and Passport Offices are as follows: application of passports, uplifting of passports, submission of old age pension letters, endorsement of obligations, and no longer obligated stamps in passports. A 36-year-old detective constable is in police custody after he fatally hit a pedestrian at number 28 Public Road, West Coast of Berbice on Sunday, October 31st and refused to take a breathalyzer test. That is 36-year-old Kwesi David of number 30 Village, West Coast of Berbice. According to investigations, around 3:45 p.m., Ashok Lakshmi Prasad of Bath Settlement Village, West Coast Berbice, was driving motorcar PNN 551 east on the public road at a moderate rate of speed when Kwesi David suddenly walked out from an access road straight into his lane. The driver said he braked to avoid a collision, but the car collided with the pedestrian despite his attempts. The pedestrian fell and received injuries to his body. He was picked up in an unconscious condition by the police and taken to the 4th Wellington Public Hospital. He was seen and examined by a doctor on duty, treated and later transferred to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital, where he later died. The driver was taken to the 4th Wellington Police Station, where he refused to be subjected to a breathalyzer test. He was placed into custody, house arrest, assisting with the investigations. Don't go away after the break. Ecuador communities resist the advance of mining companies, and China rations diesel amid nationwide fuel shortages. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Kingdom-based taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom-based taxi service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. As of Monday, November 1st, the Caribbean Community CARICOM will have a new Deputy Secretary General, Dr. Armstrong Alexis of St. Lucia. Alexis formerly worked for the United Nations Development Program, where he rose to the position of Deputy Resident Representative in Namibia after a remarkable career in the Caribbean, Pacific, and Africa. The new Deputy Secretary General offers a plethora of experience to the position, having previously worked for the Commonwealth Secretariat and at a high level in his native St. Lucia Lucia's civil service. Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Burnett, welcomed Alexis, saying, quote, "He is an experienced international public servant who brings a solid record of performance at a high level. The community and the Secretariat will undoubtedly benefit from his skills and vast experience. I am looking forward to him joining the team at the Secretariat as we continue to strive to provide effective and efficient service to the community." End of quote. Around the world, exploiting natural resources has been important for economic growth despite the effects on the environment and climate. And in Ecuador, illegal mining has been a way of life for many for decades. Now there are fears that the government's plan to issue more international licenses will create more damage. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
This is the Pacific Ecuadorian forest, an area filled with wildlife and unique vegetation. It is slowly being devastated. Bulldozers are used to divert the river as illegal miners try to find gold. Luis Casanova has been doing this for 12 years. He says he rents the equipment and hires members of the community to help out.
We bring a machine and we make a hole, and then we get the material and start building a pool, and then we start extracting. When we get 150 grams of gold or so, then it's worth moving somewhere else.
People like Daisy Riba spend hours next to the river trying to find the scraps left by bigger miners. She shows us how she's able to find some gold particles that allow her to make around $20 a day and feed her 4 children.
We don't get to work every day. We work 1 week and then that's it. Then we have to find another area.
We're told some of the country's best gold is found here. Lack of government controls makes it easy for illegal activities to spread.
Look what's happening here. This is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. This is the Tululbi River, and it's slowly being destroyed by illegal miners. At the same time, local families say that this is the only way they have to make a living, but it's having a huge impact on the environment.
All around El Ceibo community, there are abandoned pools allegedly filled with the chemicals used in the process to extract gold. Edison Anapa is the leader of the Chachi indigenous community. He says he's concerned.
The river is contaminated. You cannot bathe, fish or drink water for 11 years. It's contaminated and we are asking children not to go to the river.
University research shows the water in the province of Esmeraldas has high levels of aluminum and iron. Janet Cortez lives in a nearby community. She says her children are showing signs of skin problems. President Guillermo Lasso wants to increase mining and oil exploration activity in the country to jumpstart a troubled economy and to fight illegal operations. But experts say it will not solve Ecuador's endemic problems.
They want to tell us that exploiting these resources will solve our problems of misery, underdevelopment, and that we will progress. But history tells us that has never happened because it's not the first time. Our elites are incapable of thinking an economic model that is not only extracting nature's resources, because that's where our problems lie.
Ecuador's rainforest is among the most threatened in the world. Poverty, unemployment, and the promise of development are causing massive damage. The government, instead of fighting it, is desperate to bring international oil and mining companies and give it away. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Esmeraldas, Ecuador.
Internationally, China has started rationing diesel. A nationwide energy shortage has led to a surge in demand for fuel and a rise in prices. Many truck drivers say they are not able to complete long-distance routes to deliver vital goods. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
These truck drivers are used to crisscrossing China, driving hundreds of kilometers every day. But a nationwide shortage of diesel fuel has changed that.
I'm scared to leave Beijing and drive long distances. Some petrol stations have run out of diesel. Filling machines are closed. 2 days ago, I drove south to Hubei province, and many petrol stations didn't have any.
The shortage has been accompanied by a sharp rise in prices. Since January, the cost of diesel here has increased by about 30%.
At this petrol station, customers are limited to buying just 200 litres of diesel fuel. But outside the capital, the supply problem is much worse, with some truck drivers having to wait days to refuel.
There have been long lines of vehicles at petrol stations in China's southern and eastern provinces. Due to rationing, many drivers say they can only refuel for one day's journey, which means cross-country deliveries are taking longer to arrive. China is in the middle of a power crisis that has triggered blackouts in many cities. Shortages of coal and natural gas have led to a surge in diesel consumption. Factories and businesses have turned to diesel-powered generators to maintain operations, draining supply.
The second reason is probably because a lot of diesel is being rerouted to the agriculture sector during this harvest season to basically support grain drying and to prepare for planting winter crops. And on the supply side, basically the domestic supply for diesel has been going down because China has been exporting a lot more diesel to the rest of the world.
Some estimate China's diesel stockpiles to be at their lowest level in at least a year. Environmental crackdowns on crude oil production in some regions have worsened the shortage. The government has asked Chinese refineries to increase production and imports, but this won't be enough to contain the shortfall. Experts warn that scarcity of diesel is likely to last for months and could worsen existing problems in the global supply chain. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
And finally, more than 5 million people around the world have now died from COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University. But many experts say the actual death toll is much higher than the official figures. Al Jazeera's Priyanka Gupta reports.
People gasping for air, families torn apart, and governments forced to close borders and order millions of people to be confined to their homes. The COVID-19 pandemic has now killed more people than any other viral epidemic in the 21st century. But almost 2 years since the first case emerged in China's Wuhan province and a new coronavirus spread rapidly across the globe, effective vaccines developed at a record pace seem to be having some impact.
At the moment, that average number of daily deaths worldwide is lower than what we were seeing last year. And a lot of that could be attributed to a combination of vaccination, people understanding how COVID infects people and what they have to do to control it.
But in Russia, which produced the world's first domestically developed COVID-19 jab, many people are reluctant to take it. And that's leading to a record number of deaths. And after the initial optimism of a fast vaccine rollout in the UK, other parts of Western Europe and China, infections are rising.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the Northern Hemisphere as, by and large, many countries have no restrictions at all now. And vaccines are, obviously the whole population's not vaccinated. And as they go into winter, people are closing their windows and their doors, and there's a higher risk of transmission in both households and businesses and social settings. So I think we're about to learn a lot, and that is how much we can rely on the vaccine.
While richer nations are racing to give booster shots, poor countries, particularly in Africa, are struggling to get supplies of vaccines, leaving millions of people vulnerable. Conflict and poverty have already devastated healthcare systems in Syria, Yemen, Haiti, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, which have yet to vaccinate even 5% of their populations.
The lack of vaccination in the poor world has a huge impact in two ways. For a start, many people are dying today that don't need to die. They're getting very, very sick, are losing relatives. We still have a situation where nurses and doctors in some of these countries are not even protected against this killer disease.
The pandemic seems far from over. But some countries like Australia, Thailand and Cambodia are preparing for a new way of life, reopening their economies with more vaccines and fewer restrictions. Priyanka Gupta, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. is it for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.